All right, 7 o'clock. Let's get started. So to kind of conclude last week, one of the things is, and I know I was frustrating that you had so many edits, but you're getting ready for your DNP, and this has to be perfect. And I can't say that it's going to be perfect every week because I'm still working within the questions that are there. I've got to find out if I can switch some of the questions in the discussion board for next week because it's so vague. I mean, I had to really decipher it to figure it out, and it's not giving me what I want. So understand this. I'm going to start with this one. If they're not going to let me change it, I'm going to change it through the announcement that I'm going to try and put out as early as Sunday. I'm already working on next week's. Next week's assignments are huge for you. What I'm told from Dr. Kim is that number one, you're running a paired sample t-test or you're running the chi-squared, which we do later. You might run an aggression, but you may run an ANOVA, but you're not going to run a lot of it, but you're probably not going to do this week's assignment when you get to your DNP. It's all up in the air. Most of the time, you're going to be doing a paired sample t-test. So next week, I found out you are running a paired sample t-test. It is one of the most vital portions of one of the most vital tests that you need to make sure that you understand. If you understand it and understand how to write it up, when you get to your DNP, if you're taking your notes like I'm asking you to do and putting them somewhere where you have the write-ups and anything else that you need, especially next week with your t-tests, it is so important. It's going to save you so much time and you're going to be able to flow through what you're doing in your DNP. If it's a chi-squared, you got to know that one. If it's something else, you got most of them. Some of the ones that we're going to do because we have to do this, you're probably not going to do. So I'm not going to stress too hard on those, but we're still looking at perfection. I only work from perfection, capstone, thesis, dissertation. It's perfection. That's why I'm pushing you real hard. That's why I'm really trying to get you to understand that words count in statistics. In your DNP, words count. You can take one word in your results and turn it around and it end up changing the direction of everything you say. If you say this is one way and then here's the other one, you can mess up everything that you're doing. It's either one way or the other. If it's one, let's say, if you're doing something on grades and boys are doing better than girls, or girls are doing better than boys, for those that want to go either way, whoever's leading, you just point to who's leading because you are now a scholar. If the women have better test scores, that would generally mean in all entire purposes that the males have lower scores. You don't point to that. You point to the positive. The girls have higher test scores. As a scholar, I should know that the boys were less. It's that simple. So it's very short and sweet. A lot of you are making this very difficult by fluffing things up and changing the words, like the word suggest. You don't get to suggest anything. It either is or it isn't. And again, what you're getting in these is one sliver of the data. You got to run a whole bunch of data to get this. When you're running a paired sample t-test, you're running on a pre and a post, but the big thing is what was the intervention in the middle? What did you do as an intervention? Did the intervention work? It's done by the test, by the scores. And then there's other things to look at. No SPSS boxes. I already know the answer. I don't need the boxes. The words tell me everything I need to know. And this is the funny thing. As you go, like t-test and that, like you did last week, correlation, it's a pretty good sized paragraph. As you move into regression, ANOVA, ANACOVA, and all those other kind of ANOVAs, the bottom line is it gets shorter. The verbiage gets shorter. Okay, so we're going to go through the assignment. We're going to go through PowerPoint talking about the regression. I'm giving you the basics of what you need to know to be successful. It's not everything. I couldn't give you everything in a half hour. Couldn't give it everything to you in a week. There's a lot of nuances in that, but honestly, it's a lot of stuff that you write very little on, but it's a given. Okay. Think of it this way. Any journal article that you read is probably a 100-page paper. They got, especially a lot of them, like my paper for my master's and my doctorate, 120 pages, 130 pages that you turn into a 25-page document. Are you giving them everything? You're giving them the best. But when you really look at your results sections in there, they're dry as a bone. Everybody does it differently. There may be a whole bunch of information in some, but 9 times out of 10, they're just stating the facts that they found. I keep telling you that word discussion. It's not you're copy and pasting. You were supposed to copy and paste the results in there so I can find it quickly, so I don't have to worry about it, and I can make sure that you're doing the conclusion right. For me, other than the other stuff, the conclusion is the most important part, because if you're pulling that conclusion, at that point, I'm going to tell you, if you are a person that is, I'm trying to say this as politely as I can. If you are empathetic to someone else who has not done the work and you give them the work, and yours isn't right, it's real easy to pick out that it's plagiarism, guys. So I'm not accusing anybody, but there was a couple of them that were the same mistakes, and it's like they were bold mistakes. Thing was just missing and it looked the same. So, I mean, it's like, if I see that, everybody's doing the same thing. If you want to hand off your stuff, you take the chance of it being plagiarized. I don't care who did it. I turn everybody in, and y'all have to sort it out. But I need you to do your own work. And I need you to do the work exactly as I said. I'm giving you a template. It's the idea that if a doctor walked in and said, I need you to give him 50 milligrams of this medicine, do you walk over to the patient and go, that doctor doesn't know, I'm only going to give him 25? I'm giving you a template with the exact wording that I wanted, and you have to duplicate it with the right, correct numbers and draw the conclusion. And I got people changing the words. So this is where my frustration comes in. We are no longer looking at a relationship. We are looking at a difference. Okay? You can't look at a difference in a correlation. There's no difference. They either correlate with each other or they don't. But it's not a correlation. It is a relationship. You are looking at the relationship between two independent variables. Okay? Done with that. That's my speech for tonight, and I'm going to stand by it. Okay? Moving on.